Happy Friday, our favorite day of the week. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show, where we go through the top trending stories. Our top story for you today: Dubai Irish residents silence Western reporter seeking the darker side of Dubai stories.
Dubai Mall pickpocketing ring foiled by Dubai police.
Good news on the traffic accident front. Fatalities decreased by 93% in Dubai.
As well, Sara Al-Madani explains the Arab dating culture.
And please stay tuned. Later on in the show, we'll be joined by none other than Noor Fatih. She is discussing how she navigates criticism, embracing fame, and also celebrating cultural identity.
It's 279 days since the genocide began on October 7 in Gaza. The current death toll stands at 38,345, and the number of injured people is 88,295, and 1.9 million people have been displaced from their homes.
In our rapid weather report, it's a windy morning, I'm sure you've noticed. Expect highs of 41 degrees today. Humidity is at 53%. Before we jump into our top stories, the Ambani wedding weekend is ongoing. We have the Clintons, the Beckhams, and the Kardashians arriving in India for the wedding of the year.
It is such a big wedding. Even Justin Bieber performed for $10 million.
Who knew the Kardashians were friends with the Ambanis? Like, I feel like that it's just the guest list is getting bigger and bigger.
No.
Like, they're going to have, they'll have some wild. If I feel like Justin Bieber was there a few days ago.
Yes.
Who's going to be there tonight at the convention center for the wedding?
I mean, I don't know who is going to be there, but I know one thing is that this wedding, it has been going on for so long. With like a lot of pre-weddings and a lot of things happening, and then Justin Bieber came and performed, and then the Kardashians are coming, and it's like, oh my God, who's gonna be there again?
Could you imagine if you're the Kardashians and you got invited? Maybe it was a last-minute ticket invite. Maybe they got in touch because they knew the paparazzi.
Yes.
And then when you get that golden ticket invite, it is the wedding of the year, by the way. It is absolutely the wedding of the year. On the flip side, if I got a wedding invite like that, the anxiety would be up here, because I'd be like, what on earth am I going to gift them? Like, what do you give the people who have absolutely everything?
For sure. I mean, in my culture, we do gift gold.
Gold?
But
you can't give them gold. They've got it.
Exactly. They have it.
They own the gold.
Exactly. Like, what am I going to be gifting them? You know, like, I don't know, like plates.
No.
That would be like, they'd be like, that would be cheap for them, and then we're gonna look like an about. What would you give?
I feel like I'm just imagining the Kardashian machine. I'm sure they've got like a standard uber fancy gift that they give when they go to these like society weddings.
Yes.
So like when the Bill Gates goes, like, I'm sure he's not going for the sentimental touch, but that's kind of what you need to do. I have a wedding gift.
Yeah.
Someone watching might know what I'm talking about, but I'm mulling in my head like, what do I get this person? What do I get these people? And it's kind of hard in general, wedding gifts. Like, do you get it based on what you think the wedding value is worth?
I mean,
is that not what that's like the traditional rule? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you pay for your seat. That's the
Really?
Irish thing. So like,
oh my God,
if you know that 200 people are going to a wedding, it costs €100 per person. So the thought process is you give them the €100 back in cash so they can pay for their wedding.
Oh my God, actually.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no, actually.
So it's a cash gift.
Know. I mean, maybe, but I think what the Kardashians would do, maybe give them a check of like, I don't know, $1 million.
No, I don't think you give cash at this level.
Like, maybe a check would be fine, but I don't know.
Check would be fine.
But I don't know, like for example, like in the Middle Eastern culture, they would gift gifts that they can use at their house because they're newlyweds and they are moving to a new house, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, like plates. I don't know, like mugs, coffee mugs, things like that.
Simple things.
Yeah, maybe as well something like decor. You know what I mean?
Maybe a charity donation. I feel like a charity donation is what you would do at this level.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? We should get Kim Kardashian, whoever has gone to the wedding, and be like, "Hi, what did you give them?"
Yeah, let's see if she wants to drop in.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure that's probably on her. She might stop into Dubai.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe.
I mean, that would be very beneficial since a lot of my friends are getting married. Moment of silence.
All right, let's jump into our top stories of the morning. First of all, good morning to everyone watching on all of the social platforms. We love to see your comments coming through before, during, and after the show. Our top story today: Dubai Irish residents have silenced a Western reporter seeking darker side of Dubai stories.
Well, following the territory incident, Western media outlets have been seen digging for the dark side of Dubai. A journalist from Irish Independent reached out on social media asking for Irish residents' experience of the darker side of Dubai, and the responses came to a strong defense.
So several Irish residents on the Facebook group defended Dubai in the comments, and as a Dubai resident acknowledged the positives of Dubai, saying, look, Dubai is a great place to live. And long-term UAE residents acknowledged that, yes, while a horror did happen, they also added that a lot worse incidents have happened in Ireland and elsewhere around the world.
As well, another long-term resident mentioned that the stricter laws have contributed to a higher quality of life, ensuring safety and cleanliness.
That's true.
Which, by the way, it's very easy, to look at one negative thing and be like, oh my God, that's horrible, that's bad, and maybe give it like 100% rate of being bad. But it's one thing out of all of the good things. You know what I mean? It's like,
well, right. So I think that a horror took place, and we're not going to sidestep.
Not at all.
What happened to Terry is unmanageable, and we feel for her. However, I think it's that the journalist looking for the story asks the question, what are your darker side of Dubai stories? And I think that's leaning in with a bias that we see in Western media. They're going for blood. Yes. They're going for things that get headlines. I could look at all of these headlines I have from news alerts international around the world, and the questions are, is attempting suicide, is drinking alcohol illegal in Dubai? They're looking for the negative, when in the reality, if you really look at the safety that majority feel here, we're very blessed. I'm seeing a horrifying statistic of deaths on women in the UK due to domestic violence, and it's shocking. Apparently, a woman is killed by a man every 3 days, and this isn't domestic violence. Like, this is beyond that. It's unmanageable. But I think when they take one story and try and blow it out of proportion and throw stones at the East rather than looking inwardly at potentially what's happening in our own communities, I think that's the problem.
Exactly. They are not looking at the bigger picture of Dubai. It's safe. It's amazing. There are no taxes at all, which is really good. However, what they did is that they saw this negative story and they were milking it to have like Dubai perceived as like a not good place. However, that story as well can be implemented in Ireland, in the UK, as you mentioned, and we can say the same thing about the Western countries. But at the same time, why is it not mentioned? However, because Dubai is I would say, one of the best cities in the world.
I think female safety is an important topic around the world, and it should be addressed in all countries.
100%.
Ireland and the UAE included, because we can't sidestep what happened. Every country should address female safety, but I know as a female personally living here for 10 years, I feel safer here on the streets of Dubai than I would in Ireland.
Exactly. I mean, at the same time, it has been mentioned, and several other reports have been as well mentioned, that Dubai is the safest city for women in the world. It was, I think, the second after Abu Dhabi, which just like shows you guys that, you know what, we can have take an incident out of Ireland or out of the UK or out of any other country and be like, oh yeah, this is not good, and give me reasons why the UK is not good and not a safe country, but we don't, you know what I mean? And that's, by the way, and I understand that that's journalism, because like you would want to like look and dig deep into the stories before you actually write it and publish it.
But so we just ask that the next time people choose to do it without the negative slant
of Dubai.
Yes. However, it's quite funny that we talk about safety in Dubai and we're leading into the next story, which is a pickpocketing ring. However, it has already been foiled by Dubai police. So Dubai police have arrested a group of pickpocketers who were targeting individuals in the Dubai Mall area. We don't hear these stories often. According to a police report by the Khaleej Times, police in civilian clothing, they were monitoring a high traffic area such as Dubai Mall after multiple thefts were reported.
According to the report, 4 men targeted distracted tourists as they enjoyed the Dubai Fountain Show, and then the 4 men worked together to target victims. Dubai police were thankfully monitoring the situation in a smart stings operation.
So they were watching. They also had surveillance footage which showed the members fleeing the crime scene after the crimes were caught on camera. Now, these men have already been found guilty, and the reason we don't see these thefts often, the reason we don't see pickpocketing like other countries, is because after the men were found guilty, they've all been sentenced to 1 month prison and they'll be deported. And we look at the blessings that we have here as residents, and the reason the crimes are not high is because as soon as a crime is committed, it's prison and it's deportation. And I think people value their lives here and their wages and their incomes, because our incomes are supporting our families here and elsewhere, that we need them. And therefore, that's why you see less crime on the streets.
I think as well what happens is crimes are bound to happen. All kinds of crimes, like the Tory crime, the pickpocketing crimes, all of these crimes are bound to happen. However, the UAE just handles it very professionally and very in a good way, and they just I would say they don't even give fine, you will get this amount of jail and then you're gonna go out and live. No, you get deported. And because of the severity of the punishment that the UAE implements on people who actually do the crimes, people maybe avoid crimes. However, I would assume that people who do the crimes maybe come from a different culture and different backgrounds, that they think maybe the UAE is as easy as maybe their country is.
They're not aware that the strict rules will be enforced, but they shall. And also, this leads us nicely on to our next story, because of strict rules, we're seeing a decrease in fatalities on the streets of Dubai.
So traffic accident fatalities decreased by 93% in Dubai. I mean, it's a good number. RTA aims to achieve Dubai traffic safety strategy goals with zero fatalities vision. Traffic accident fatalities have decreased by 93% from 2007 to 2023.
Amazingly, Dubai implemented strategic initiatives such as constructing 32 raised pedestrian crossings. They addressed 29 sites with recurring incidents and conducted awareness campaigns. Over 500,000 fines were issued for violations concerning pedestrian crossings, motorcycles, bicycles and scooters to get to this number. Interestingly, I come home top of Al Fay Road. A lot of traffic. It's one of the turn-offs into JVC, and I always get a little reminder that it's a high incident area for traffic accidents.
True.
And it reminds me to focus more on the road, because your mind could be elsewhere. You're listening to the music, you're looking at maps on your phone, and then you get that trigger and you're thinking, okay, focus on the road, because it's a bit mishmashy on the roads. Cars are coming from all angles and you have to focus because you just don't want to get to that accident.
I agree with you. And by the way, as well with pedestrian crossing, that's why people who jaywalk have a fine. Jaywalking as a fine, and that's why you guys need to use the pedestrian street, because when you're driving and let's say there's this pedestrian street that someone suddenly is crossing, and you're gonna have to be oh my god, you're gonna stop a sudden harsh break, that might as well promote and cause accidents, and then the car behind you might as well be going through a speed, let's say, and then you stop and then it bumps and it's an accident. But I want to ask, have you ever been in an accident?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking it's funny because I didn't realize that today's show, the topic was going to be how important law enforcement is, because we just jumped from story to story and how these small things make a greater difference to society. Have I ever been in an accident? I've crashed cars, but
I've crashed cars.
I've had bumps.
Okay.
Right? So I had a car and I reversed into a wall.
Okay.
Just little scrapes.
As long as you're safe,
there was never a human involved.
Okay.
I'm not a great driver. I'm not going to pretend. I'm not going to wave a flag and say I'm a great driver. Thank God. By the way, if you're learning to drive now, do you know how amazing those cameras are? We didn't always have them. And that is the reason for my previous crashes. We didn't have cameras on the back of the car. So and these sensors, I was driving a car in America, and it gives you a beep if you're going to go left and right. If there's a car coming, it gives you a sensor, so you just wouldn't go left or right because there's a car there. It's amazing.
That's amazing. I want that car. what's the car? Actually, the thing is, honestly, I am a very reckless driver. And
No, we don't admit that.
I mean,
we get better.
that's the thing, you know what I mean? I do drive, like, I love, like, I'm a reckless driver. I'm not gonna lie that.
What does that mean?
I mean, like, for example, like, for fun, to let go of stress, I go karting, just so I can, like...
You go karting. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Right.
And I drive really fast because I cannot drive that fast.
I thought you meant on the roads you're a reckless driver. I was like, Farah, we need to fix that.
I'm not like on the road, I am a careful driver, but I'm a good driver. However, my parents think I drive in a fast way. I don't drive very, like, my speed is fine. I don't know why they're scared. I'm like, I see my mom and dad like, oh my God, they fear their life. I'm like, you're so dramatic. I don't, just like, let it go.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've had an accident done before.
You're okay?
Yeah.
Was it recent?
No, it was not recent. I mean, but still, it's an accident I will never ever forget.
Has that accident changed your attitude to the road that you'd be less of a reckless driver?
No, because it was not my fault, and that's the thing that we should take care from other people driving,
right?
Not only our driving. And so, if you guys want to like cooperate and with the decrease fatalities,
follow the rules, the road.
You should be able to as well, like, recognize the cars around you, because like some cars really drive recklessly without even knowing where they're gonna go, and they just go like all around, and then it's like that's how crashes happen.
We're not about that reckless driving life, let me tell you. And Farah, if I see you on the road, we're joking. Okay, speaking of rules, jumping into our next topic, we're talking about the rules of Arab dating culture explained by Real Housewives of Dubai star Sarah Al-Madani. She says, we're in the waiting room. So Bravo TV shared a clip from the new season of Real Housewives of Dubai, and the caption was titled, "Dating in Dubai gives It's Complicated a whole new meaning." And, well, they're not wrong.
Well, in the clip, Sarah's explaining a relationship status to her boo because she's saying, I can only wait if it's exclusive.
So she responds, I'm not dating. And then she explains the intricacies of dating in the Arab world. She basically says that when you're dating, you're preparing for marriage.
Yes.
So they are not a boyfriend, but they're not a boyfriend until they meet the family. So your dating is like you're on the runway. You're basically on the aisle at that point, but they're not a boyfriend because they haven't met the family. Is that right?
I mean, it's like a 50-50. It's not like, it depends on the girl. However, like in our culture, if we're dating for marriage. We don't date to like, oh yeah, we're gonna see if it works out. No, Habibi, it's gonna work out.
Even if you're younger. I just grew up in a different culture, and so for example, like nothing serious, but like you had boyfriends when you were younger, you know?
Yeah.
But I didn't think I was going to marry the boyfriend.
I mean, look, that's why like in our culture, dating is preferred not at like younger ages. It's preferred not to happen at younger ages because like we know that, because the parents know that they're going to break up. It just doesn't happen. I mean,
so
okay,
so it doesn't happen. So you only, it's just when you're getting married, you meet the one.
No, right. It depends on the family. For example, like my family, they do allow dating if the guy has real intentions.
Intentions is everything.
100%, like if like, okay, but you guys need to get married though. I mean, of course, we all have ex-boyfriends and men have ex-girlfriends.
How do parents instill that? How do parents assess the intentions of the dater? Do they have that conversation like early on? Like Massa, for example, like would your dad like make sure your potential suitor knows marriage is happening? Okay, parents don't know what dating is happening. You tell your mom. So if marriage is on the cards, if the engagement's happening, then the parents come into the picture, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going out. So you're saying, I want to marry this person. I've never dated them, but I want to marry them. And your parents are like, okay, great. Okay. I get it, and I like how these shows explain the culture to the world, because I think it's cultures are so different, especially here when you've got such a melting pot.
Yes.
But when you have someone like Sarah Al-Madani explaining it and explaining like we just do things, it's much more traditional. It's a much nicer way to do it and a nicer approach, and it explains it to the rest of the world in a way that we can understand. So I really like that.
But the thing is, you know what I mean? Like everyone knows it. All Arab, even parents know it, but they just like maybe pretend not to know that their daughters or their sons are dating. And for, like, I don't know, in my family it's different, because like even my cousins, when they date, they do tell their parents and so on. But like, I don't know, for me and my sister, when we date, because of course we've dated, we do tell our parents. However, it needs to be serious.
It needs to be serious. I like that. I like the more traditional approach. The more that I'm here, I see the value in it. 8:50, guys. We were so excited in the office. I think it was like a fangirl moment for the entire office, which is you rarely see, when Noura Fateh was in our studio 2 days ago. When we got to sit down with her, we asked her about how she deals with critics, how she's handling fame, and her thoughts about online dating. The interview is going to be with us right after this very short break. Do stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today we have a very special guest joining us, and she is making moves from Canada and India to Morocco. Noura Fateh is a global superstar, and we have her on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. That was a nice intro. Like, I love it.
Thank you so much.
I mean, it's Casey said, thank you so much. And on your Instagram account, you have 46 million followers.
Yeah.
It's a huge number.
Oh, thank
and
you.
you wave 3 flags. So if you can maybe tell us more about your background, where did you grow up, and so on.
So I'm from Toronto, Canada. I was born and raised there, but both my parents are from Morocco. So I'm really, into my Moroccan roots, and I'm really proud of it, and I bring it along with me through my art. But I moved to India about 9-10 years ago. So India has become a really heavy part of who I am and my identity, and it's my second home. Actually, it might be my first home right now. I don't even know if I have a home at this point. Like, I'm all over the place.
You must be very, you're all over.
I'm everywhere, yeah. Like, I stay here also in Dubai. So between Mumbai and Dubai, it's only like 2 hours flight, so I'm back and forth. But yeah, these 3 countries, Canada, Morocco, and India, make up who I am today.
How did you find your way into Bollywood? Because it's a small transition, but in reality, to grow such fame in such a short amount of time, how did you do it?
It's definitely not a small transition, because I'm not Indian. Neither do I have any ties to India. I'm, from Toronto. It's like, you look at the globe, Canada's here and India is like right there. So I don't know what hit me and said, you should go, but there was someone was handling my work. My agent at that time in Toronto was handling my work, and that was a point in my life where I wanted to take my career seriously and go into entertainment, become an actor, performer. And he suggested that I should go to India, and I was like, you know what, that won't be a bad idea, because anyways, we're so familiar with Bollywood. We all grew up watching Bollywood, so it wasn't something foreign. But India as a country was just it never crossed my mind. But when he said it, I was like, you know what, why not? Bollywood has music, dance, and acting all together in one industry, so this makes sense for me. And then I just packed all my bags and left.
Speaking of making moves, what a move.
That was the biggest move of my life.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it takes a lot of bravery to actually, move to India. It's not easy. And speaking of that, how's the reception, from from Bollywood, considering the fact that, your cultural background is not Indian?
Well, I would say very positive, because I've molded myself with them in terms of I learned the language, I speak Hindi, I've assimilated into their environment, and I fit within the requirements of acting in Indian cinema. I think had I not put in the effort to do that, I don't think the reception would have been that great, and rightly so, because if you're going to work in mainstream cinema, you have to relate to the audience. The audience has to be able to, accept you. And I've been really grateful that they've been very loving, supportive, and very accepting of me.
And then when you decided to jump into song, another move, how was the audience response to that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I feel like I'm such a grateful artist and very lucky because anything that I've jumped into in my career journey has been received really well by my fans and the audience, and they love it. I mean, I was just saying that I've molded myself into their environment, but simultaneously I also brought elements of my culture into Bollywood, which they have been very accepting with, whether it was my Afro dancing and bringing into Afro music into the commercial cinema, or belly dance into commercial cinema, or even the Moroccan stuff that we've done with Nora. Everyone has been so accepting and celebrating of what I bring to the table.
I mean, you do associate yourself with like Bollywood. However, you do sing in Arabic and English. And I noticed that, by the way, like we were listening to your song, and I was like, that's Moroccan, that's Arabic.
Yeah. See, the thing is, like, when I got into Bollywood, I always imagined that once I gain the fame and the popularity, I'm going to shift towards opening up a new career for myself where I can have more creative liberty and I can show more elements of myself, which I couldn't do in Bollywood. And the minute Dilbar, which was a song in a movie that I performed on in 2018, the minute that released and it just shot me into stardom, that's when I was like, okay, this is the right time for me to take control of the direction my career is going into, and now cater to a more international market. So I took the Hindi version of Dilbar and I created it into Arabic, and I sang it with Nair, and that would officially begin my singing career. And in 2018, we released the Arabic version, which was very popular actually in Dubai and many parts of the MENA region. And that facilitated my singing career. So moving forward, I became an independent artist. I started, really investing into my singing career. I did a song called Pipita, which is an Afro track with Rayvani. It's an English and Swahili track. That did really well. I did a track called Dirty Little Secret with Zach Knight, which was a really big one and really well received in India, despite it being an only English track. So this really encouraged me to keep investing in my independent career. And I kept going and building my YouTube channel until I signed my first record deal this year with Warner.
It's just a phenomenal story of personal success. And something that we sometimes like to ask people, like, is it hard work? Is it talent or is it luck?
It's so funny. I get asked this question. I ask myself the same question. It's a bit of everything. There's always going to be someone more talented than you. There's always going to be someone prettier than you, skillful than you. But if you don't mix the talent that you have with immense work ethic and a bit of luck, you're not really going to go anywhere. You have to have this self-belief where if anyone says no, you don't take no for an answer. If the door is closed, you open a window. It's kind of like that, and that's how my journey has been. Me venturing into my independent singing career was not encouraged by a lot of people I was working with. A lot of people are like, why are you wasting your own money? Why are you doing this? You don't need to do this. You're already big. You're already famous. You're already doing movies. But I just didn't want to take no for an answer, and I always had a bigger vision, and my vision was always global after making it in India, and that's kind of the route now I'm going. Yeah.
But we do still see the hint of like Morocco. So how can you say, or how would you say that your Moroccan heritage kind of like impacted or shaped your identity and career?
Oh yeah, I mean, like I said initially, I'm so proud of my Moroccan roots, and I find it so unique, and it's something about it which I've said since day one, we haven't had the right platforms as Moroccan artists. I mean, I'm speaking about other Moroccan artists. We have such talented Moroccan artists, and Moroccans inherently are great artists, and we don't have the right places to position them and even the right resources. So whenever I see, our dresses, the way we dance, our music, our spirituality, everything about us, I'm always like, let me take it and find a way to put it somewhere. Or, whenever I have the chance, even our language, a lot of people like in India still don't know we speak Darija. They all like put us in one box and they're like, oh, it's just Arabic. But no, we have a very deep history where our language comes from. Amazigh Berber people, our tribes, where they come from, and their, history hasn't been tapped into. And I want to be someone who can educate, my audience and followers about that. And this is just a small way of doing it, via the clothes we wore, the face tattoos, the hair, the makeup. Everything that my director did in this music video has a meaning and it's very symbolic. And one day we can get into that. But yeah, I mean, I find myself very lucky to have the opportunity to do that through my art.
Sure, it's small things but big statements.
Yeah, for sure.
And one thing that I felt from the song Nora is it feels like an anthem for female empowerment.
For sure.
Like strong, maybe like is there a personal moment that helped inspire the song?
I mean, it's not a moment. I think it's been moments, like many, many moments where I remember 4 or 5 years ago when I have my manager who's from Morocco, deals with like my international work. We were just sitting and making kind of like a roadmap of where I want to go. And the first thing was like, okay, we're going to like venture into your music career. You're going to perform at the FIFA World Cup. We were just manifesting. At that time, we seemed crazy, but it all happened. And one of the other things we discussed was bringing Morocco into my artistry. And we were just waiting for the right time. When I signed with Warner and we did our first writing camp, and you know how writing camps are, you get all these producers and writers in one room and everyone's doing their thing. And I walked into one room where Maiz, he's also a Moroccan artist, he was there, he helped us write a lot of the parts of the song. And then we had our producer Lucas, and they were all like trying to get into the zone. And I heard this beat, and I'm like, guys, this is such a crazy beat. What are we doing with it? And then they're sitting there rapping, da da da, and Lucas goes with flag Canadian Moroccan, and I'm like, wait, stop. What was that? That was so cool. And we built my story from there. And the way that they started writing, you know, making moves from India, Morocco, that in a nice way that tells my story in a very brief way.
Right.
And as they were writing and I'm listening to them, I was getting so excited. I'm like, guys, this is a moment I've been waiting for. I want to tell my story. And one thing was missing, though, a Moroccan element. And I kept telling them, give me a Moroccan element. That's when we found the hook of the song. And I'm like, okay, this is it. We sent it over to a producer friend of mine in Morocco. His name is Mohsin. And he added the Amazigh Berber elements to it. You know, if you hear it, you could really focus and hear those elements. And when he did that, I was like, oh my God, it's happening. This is it. I got goosebumps. I was so emotional. And I was excited for my multicultural, diverse audience that I have, my fan base, for them to be introduced to this, for them to also celebrate it. I think it was the moment where my director showed me the mood board and the screenplay of the music video. That's when I really got emotional, because I'm like, oh my God, you're going to celebrate my success and my story. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
I just want to ask, like, and I feel the energy, and you knew that this song was the right song for you before it came out, but with 46 million followers and such a diverse audience, you have to know that when you put your song out there, you're facing criticism on your work.
For sure, always.
And it comes out. So how do you deal with that mentally?
I mean, if I breathe, I face criticism. So this is nothing. I mean, when you're an artist and when you put yourself in the public, you're essentially a public figure. Whether you're an artist, a host, or anything, you do face scrutiny, anything that you do, because nobody's ever happy. But I don't focus on that. I actually focus on the accomplishment. No matter how big I get or how many followers I have, I always think of myself as that girl in Toronto who was just like a nobody, you know, just hustling, trying to make it, and I still have that mentality. So anytime I succeed into doing something like this, or like the movies I do, or whatever, being on a big stage like the World Cup or the closing ceremony, any venture that I succeed in, I don't focus on the criticism. I actually focus on, did I just do that? That's crazy. Okay, if there's a girl or a boy out there who's dreaming, it's possible. You can make your dreams happen in any field that you're in. Just look at me as an example.
Well, now I want to ask, because you did mention that, you know, like Moroccans are very spiritual and so on. In the song, you mentioned Evil Eye in your song. So was it inspired by a true event of evil eye? Like, were you a victim of evil eye, and do you believe in it?
I think everyone tends to be a victim of evil eye. Of course, I believe it. I'm a very spiritual person. Everybody knows that. And when I talk about Ain Bnadm Fiya wa Ain Talaq Qarib, it really means that because I'm such a big public figure, I'm always under the, like you said, scrutiny. People are always watching me, right? So it can get really difficult. It can really suck your energy. And being someone who never kind of thought about the consequences of being such a famous person. I was like, oh, I want to be famous because like I want the world to know who I am, and I want people to know like what I bring to the table, and I never thought of the other things that come with it. And I'm very open when I discuss these things. These things, all artists face these things, and it's up to you to figure out how to combat that. But yeah, like, I mean, it comes with the package. You know,
That's
like,
true.
Yeah.
Well,
Agreed.
speaking of come with the package, we're going to play a quick game, but before we get there, I just have one last question. You're sitting before us. You are a global superstar. You're very talented. You're very beautiful.
Thank you.
Do you have a message for people who aspire to fame?
I always tell people to, whether they aspire to fame, I think it's succeeding in what you're doing that brings fame, right? That brings recognition. Fame can come in different forms, right? I would say self-belief, because in the journey of what you're doing, you're always going to have people who just like, oh, no, I don't think so. Why do you want to do this? Kind of rain down on your parade. And when that happens, if you don't have a strong personality and your guard is up and you believe in yourself, you could kind of be like, oh, yeah, you're right. Maybe I shouldn't. And that would be so sad, you know, if you get discouraged. So I always tell people to be overly ambitious, no matter how big the dream is, no matter how many people tell you it's not possible, and have really good work ethics. I think that's what really helped me, because like I said, there's always going to be someone more talented than you, sings better than you, dances better than you, acts better than you. But if you don't have the work ethics, people are just going to want to give those opportunities to somebody else. So yeah.
Reach for the stars. I love
For
that
sure.
so much. We're going to do a really quick game.
Okay,
it's
let's
a
do it.
buzzer.
So-
It's called Hot or Not.
Hot or not?
Well,
Okay.
We're going to call out a random thing. If it's hot, you
Okay.
tell us it's hot, and if
It's not buzzer? Okay.
there she goes. She got it.
Okay, well, the first one is Big Boss.
Okay.
Hot or not?
In what context, though? Look, it really helped me get my name out there, so hot.
Hot.
Okay.
Private jets.
Hot.
All right, well, Dubai Bling.
Hot. I enjoy it. I find it so entertaining.
I feel like this is going to be a surefire round. TikTok dances.
Hot. Okay. Give us something where I can do the buzzer.
Wow, let's see. Last one.
Online dating apps.
No.
Okay.
No?
Well, we got one. That's a no.
How do you meet someone?
I don't. I prefer the times where people met, like
Yeah,
face to face,
face-to-face,
by
yeah.
accident, on purpose, you know, that kind of stuff.
So no DMs.
No.
Not answering to those.
No, never.
Interesting.
That brings us to the
Thank
end
you.
of this interview.
She's
Nora
like,
Fatih.
interesting.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that
Thank you so
insightful chat.
much.
We really
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
Thank you for celebrating this track and promoting it.
course.
It means so much to me and my team. Thank you.
Nora is out now. Take a listen. You will love it. It is the anthem of the summer. That brings us to the end of the show. Have a brilliant day. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye-bye.